Welcome back to another episode of the Bell Ringers podcast with yours truly, Ryan McDonald.
I'm Ty Press.
We're doing House of the Dragon recap and review, episode 5, Regent, written by T. McKell, I think is how you pronounce it, and directed by Claire Kilner. Uh, we're coming off the big battle, so we're just kind of getting everyone's reactions to it. We
hmm
start out with,
Well,
uh,
make sure you like and subscribe
yep,
all the platforms. Spotify, TikTok, YouTube. We need support over Instagram.
rate us on Spotify.
Yes.
But we start out with Team Black kind of morning. We get Corliss first going up to the Driftwood throne, takes his seat, and then we get Rhaenyra looking over the bay of Dragonstone, a little teary-eyed. Then we go right into the parade. And Flea Bottom, a bunch of small folk walking around, and then they start parading the head of Melees, saying the traitor dragon killed by their king, all this stuff, all this bad talk, and then the small folk kind of responding not the way Kristen Cole would thought. They say it's a black omen. Rhaenyra will answer for this. It's an abomination. And then Kristen Cole kind of goes, "Don't they realize we won?"
hmm
So Gawain says, "Don't," or says it was a
Hardly a victory.
strange victory if you would call it that.
Yeah.
And then it looks like we get Hugh Hammer, the small folk we kind of follow probably like 3 of the episodes so far this season.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a squire says, "I thought they was gods," and he responds, "It's just meat." I think kind of
I
like
thought
that.
these was gods.
It kind of just like explains how everyone's kind of viewed the dragons and Targaryens themselves as closer to gods than they are to men.
I mean, we're
And
talking about like over hundreds of years of dynasty of the Targaryens, and dragons have just been loose flying around. Like they've seen things like Balerion the Dread just be untouchable
yeah,
almost and die of old age because he was such a unit. Like
well,
these
it's
things have looked untouchable for
these.
their whole lives.
So this is the first one that they've seen killed. So now it's kind of thought of like, oh, like, which is like not good for them because like the dragon is also the sigil of their house and like their reign.
Right.
So you're basically just saying, yeah, we're not invulnerable. Like you can also kill us. And I don't think
Yeah.
they really thought that far. Um,
Yeah, and it's just like what is it? What's like? I don't want to say a war crime, but like just like against the code. Like it's there's this mutual respect for the dragons. We're bringing the dragons to war. Like you don't parade the head of
yeah.
one
What's like I
like
said,
through the town, and that's why I think the whole town was like, this is a bad omen. Like this
yeah,
is not like
yeah.
this is not going to portray well for us. Like if when this word gets back, like this is so disrespectful. This is it just crosses a lot
Yeah.
of lines that like
What's it's
I
almost
even like
like
I said, even the small folk were like, Rhaenyra is going to come back with
yeah,
this. Like this is a bad omen. This they were not happy about it. Not one small folk
yeah,
was actually pleased to see
yeah.
that.
I mean that, like I said, it's one of their gods is dead. So it's like if like the ancient like Greeks saw like Poseidon's head like getting strolled through, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's not good. Like we're
Right.
not like they're gonna respond somehow.
And like they've
Uh,
harped on for a while, like there was so like 60, 70 years of peace under the King Jaehaerys and King Viserys. So like they're like, dude, like we've never like everything's been chill.
yeah,
Like these dragons, like we all love these dragons. They feed the dragons like goats and stuff. Like they like the dragons don't like attack people. Like there's just been this mutual thing. Like you said, they probably looked up to a lot of these dragons, being like, oh, like I've seen Melees grow my entire life. Like
yeah.
little kids being like, oh, like Melees is my favorite. Like
Well, yeah. I mean,
Braveheart, like it's just something that like they've always looked at these things as being this higher level, and then you're seeing this one that you've grown up with being on your side. This is the first time there's been like a civil war like that
yeah,
where
exactly. Yeah,
dragons are
it's
you
only
have
been
like
like a
bad
few
dragons and
weeks
good
since it's
dragons.
been on the yeah.
So like it's definitely weird for them. And like we said, it's and like they said, it's a bad omen. It's just not a
Yeah.
good look.
Within this parade, they also have Aegon in a box hidden. Clearly just a regular box to try and not make it obvious it's the king. He's getting brought into the Red Keep, and Aemon and Alicent are kind of looking over, watching this happen. And Alicent's clearly kind of showing some fear. Aemon's not. She kind of looks over at him like, "What did this psychopath do?" And then
Yeah.
because she also sees he has a cat's paw dagger in his like
Waste.
waistband. So I think she kind of gets the idea like Aemon did something to
Mm-hmm.
Aegon, like he didn't take his sword because he already has his own. But like she's like, oh, you like I don't think you would have taken this if this was like an accident. Like you kind of meant to do this in a way.
It's a cat's paw dagger, right?
Yeah, it's the one that killed or tried to kill Bron
Mm-hmm.
or Bran. Um, but then they bring him in, and everyone's kind of like all like the servants are kind of like looking out like kind of sad and like fearful. And then we get Helena just very stoic, just really. I guess she just has too much. She's given up too much mourning and hurt, so she has none left. She kind of just like watches over like, don't doesn't know what to think.
Yeah, I mean, like we see her later, and she like mentions it. So like, I don't want to say that she's not phased by it at all. I just like, I think what you're like saying is like she just has gone through so much
Yeah,
recently. She just it doesn't have like the
yeah,
capacity to process
yeah,
emotions right now, which
yeah.
I
It's
understand
yeah,
absolutely. Also, I want to comment like this like dude's like very close to the brink of death. Like time is of the essence. Maybe like if you're gonna do a parade of the dragon head, like take him and try to like beeline him to the castle and not slowly
yeah.
parade him through the whole King's Landing too. Like
It is
the
kind of weird.
Maesters were the only ones that felt any urgency about the fact that this dude has just completely tarred his entire
Yeah,
body and we need to throw a shit ton of ointments and leaves
yeah.
on him to get him to possibly live.
It's almost like I mean I don't know how much like they needed to just kind of immobilize him, but like it's like could we not have like kind of put him on Vagar somehow and had Aemon just flying back in like
Yeah,
20
immediately.
minutes? Yeah,
Right.
because like you said, like when they bring his body and they get him on the bed, and like like Grand Maester's saying like times of the essence is really important. Like he's alive, like he remains with us for the moment. Like we gotta act right away. Like I can't. Sorry, Allison, I can't like talk to you.
Right. And we get Eamon like chilling with Allison. Like he's been there for a bit. Like
Yeah,
he
that's what I
said,
mean.
like
Like he.
he could have taken him the whole time. Like
Yep.
Eamon's been chilling, just
Yeah.
waiting for his brother to fighting for his life in a fucking in a box to
Yeah.
make it there.
And I kind of wonder what Eamon said to Allison like when he first got there. Like, and she's like, "Oh wait, where's Aegon?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he's in a box. He's coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's
he'll be
he's
here.
fine. He's fine. He'll be all right." But then like
Yeah.
also like when he's on the bed, Eamon just goes up to the foot of it, puts his hands on it, and just almost like doesn't like have a smile, but like he just like says someone will have to rule in his stead. Just basically no care for his like actual like
Yeah.
health. Uh,
Immediate to
yep.
business.
But then we go to Chris and Cole cleaning his blade with a lemon and I'm assuming salt, which apparently is good to clean off.
Rust and metal,
Yeah.
I believe.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was cleaning off blood, but I think
Right.
I've heard it's good against like stainless steel and that stuff. And Chris and Cole definitely seems to be like affected by this. Like he's just kind of like I almost want to like say scared, but he's almost just like zoned out the entire time throughout this episode. Like doesn't make eye contact with like anyone.
Well, I think he
Uh,
was humbled. Like, honestly, I think
well,
he
yeah,
had
yeah,
this idea in his head that like he could like he'd be a huge factor in the war,
yeah,
and then he saw the first dragon fight, and like dude got knocked out on like the
yeah.
landing of Vagar, and it's like, damn, dude, like what we do, like really,
Doesn't
it's
matter.
gonna come down to what dragon wins,
Yeah,
and it's and like I said, he like a few, I think he comes in later, and he's like, dude, like you don't
yeah,
want to be a part of this. Like this shit's gonna get
yeah.
real bad.
Protecting you from
It's
it.
really
Yeah,
ugly. So
yeah.
yeah, I
Because
think he's just been humbled.
this is the first all of them are seeing of like dragon on dragon warfare. I mean,
Right.
some of it, like I mean,
If you don't
Damon
count
went.
Magar and Lucerys
Yeah.
or
Well, yeah.
Aemon.
I mean, and we saw like Damon fight with like a dragon and Lenore in
Yeah, but they
like the
weren't fighting
triarchy.
another dragon.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like this is the first dragon on dragon, and even for most
Mm-hmm.
of them, like most of the people that are were fighting in this probably weren't even at that fight, so they don't even know what even just a dragon in like war by itself even looks like.
Right.
But he mentions that Sunfire is long in the dying and left behind at the castle with a garrison of men to defend it, and
Small
he
garrison.
yeah basically just won't tell Allison what happened between them. He's just like, oh, I could not see, or I could not say. So
Well,
like, I
she
think
specifically asked, like, what was Aemon's part
yeah,
in this?
I
And
think
he said,
he
yeah.
says like I cannot say. So he didn't say like I could not see. So it's like I don't know if he's saying like he can't say because he doesn't know. He's acting like he doesn't know, or if he's actually saying that because he's just trying to hide for Eamon.
Yeah.
But either way, we go on to the Black Council, and Sir Alfred is very upset over losing the dragon, their biggest dragon, and Rook's Rest, and the fact that they're missing Damon still, kind of puts Rhaenyra down, and like, cause they're all talking about battle plans, and she mentions like, oh, am I not the queen or whatever, and he goes, oh, the gentler sex are not privy,
Oh, yeah.
basically women are not privy to war and battles. To which Rhaenyra goes, we've had 80 years of peace. You've seen as many battles as I have, which is very
Great
true.
line.
Yeah, I mean, but she does mention later in the thing like, oh, like I was not like a sword was not put in my hand when I was younger. I really don't know all about this stuff. I don't know the difference between a hilt and a foil, different parts of
Right.
swords.
pretty much saying she was raised to be like a diplomat, not a
Yeah,
soldier.
yeah, she had her father's cup in her hand, like the wine cup. So she was raised to rule, but rule during peace, not during war.
Right.
Um, Rainier says send the Maidenpool and Cracklaw Point to man their garrisons and provide them with weapons or store if they need. But Sir Stefan Darkland, who was the one that took her to the Red Keep originally, he's from I guess Duskendale, where we saw the one Lord Darkland get his head chopped off. He
Mm-hmm.
very much wants to get revenge and answer for Rook's rest and Duskendale, as you can imagine, a guy getting upset that his house kind of got killed.
Yeah.
Um, and then we kind of see the guys start to plan around her and kind of just talk about plans without Rainier, like without asking Rainier what her opinions are. And we move to Jace and Bela, and Jace basically saying he's gonna leave and go do something without his mother's consent.
Right.
First, he wants to go to Harrenhal and meet with Damon and make sure his loyalty still lies with them. Bela pushes back and kind of is like, "You're like, do you think if your mom can't tame Damon, do you think you're gonna be able to? You're not even
Right.
actually his son, so like you have like to him, he probably Damon probably almost doesn't even care about Jace. Um, but then he gets the like he just wants to act and gets the idea to go meet with the Freys of the twins to secure the passing for the Starks that are coming down, which makes it seem like they're pretty close, which would be cool to get the Starks back. I wonder. I would hope that we would get Kragan, but I doubt it. At least not yet. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so basically, he ends up leaving. We get Daemon by the Bracken's castle, which I found out was Stonehenge, almost Stonehenge, but Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. Okay.
Basically tells the Brackens to bend the knee or burn, and Sir William's kind of right there by his dragon. The Brackens kind of just like, oh, I'm not gonna like, you're with a Blackwood. Do you think I'm gonna join sides with that guy? Like,
Yeah.
screw
I think the
you.
line's like, I'd rather my like keep turn to ash and bones than to bend the knee to a
Yeah,
bracken or a
yeah.
dirty bracken.
Well, yeah, 'cause
It's
like
just
they,
the most hilarious
yeah,
beef that we've ever gotten.
yeah,
Like we've gotten like no real backstory to it whatsoever. These families just absolutely despise each other.
yep,
Like dirty bracken. My favorite has still been the your Blackwood or your bracken cows are eating my Blackwood
yeah.
grass. Like that is just
All mad about his stones being moved probably like 20 feet.
yeah.
But
But
like
I love this beef.
we get like Damon's first kind of like push towards more like having the idea that he's gonna take the throne because he says bend the knee to me, not bend the knee to Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
But they
The
choose
first look at this.
fire over bending the knee, which we get a cool view of like I don't know which bracket it is, but like he's like turning away to go ride his horseback, and Caraxie's head kind of like comes
Dips
down to
down
get
into
get
camera.
ready to blow, and then it cuts away, and we just see Damon sitting on a rock, being like, I didn't think they'd be so quick to like so keen to die.
And the Blackwood's pissed off that
Yeah,
he didn't kill him.
yeah. And then he kind of mentions he's like I need like them being on like being with that mindset is kind of what he needs. He needs guys that are not going to just switch their will, which makes sense. But it's like, how are you going to get them to switch to your side and not like I don't know. But he also mentions he's like I like instead of fighting them, try persuading them. And it
Right.
seems like Sir William
Which
kind of gets what he's saying. Like you got to go do
persuading them.
yeah, go do the dirty work that the crown can't be shown to do.
Mm-hmm.
Which we later find out he put up banners of House Targaryen and basically didn't follow
Wasn't
those
exactly
orders.
discreet about
Nope.
it.
Then we go to the Erie with Rhaena and Jane Eyre, and they're kind
Oh
of going
yeah.
back and forth on like the fact that she only got two baby dragons and not one fighting dragon.
Yeah. She's like,
And
you have two dragons. Like I got dogs outside tougher than those
yeah,
dragons.
they're kind of fighting on technicalities. And Rhaena's like, "You got two dragons. It's more than what you asked for." And she goes, "They're still wet from the egg."
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, like I have two dogs outside that are fiercer. But I mean, she like pushes back like, oh, they'll grow. But it's like, yeah, like the war's happening now though. Like she doesn't need them in 15 years, 20 years when they're bigger. She needs one right now, because like the whole fear is like, I mean, we get Rainier like opening the book to Visenya, but like the what happened when Aegon was conquering was Visenya took Vagar over, landed in the Eyrie, the middle of the courtroom, and they were like, oh, we're screwed. What we thought was like a impenetrable fortress has just gotten like dragons don't care about that. They can just fly over it.
Right. We're completely impenetrable, just not by air.
Yeah.
Which that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's even in Game of Thrones,
Yep.
say the impenetrable force, but a dragon does not. You can
Yeah.
now you can't defend against a dragon.
But then she does mention her apologies for the death of Rhaenys. And then we go to Rhaenyra and Mysaria. And Rhaenyra's kind of just venting to her about like, oh, like yeah, like these dudes are just talking around me. This is annoying. It's pissing me off. Uh, and let's see. Yeah, like Rhaenyra basically like doesn't want to, because I think Mysaria says like, do you want to set a right to Daemon? She's like, no, like I shouldn't have to or whatever. Like she sees it kind of a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
And then Mysaria mentions like Cole made the mistake. Ooh, lost him for a second. I'll bring him back. Where'd he go? Come on, there he is.
Already
You're
mentions
back.
that. What?
Mysaria mentions that Kristen Cole made a mistake parading Melee's head, and that like, cause like she's been hearing all like the comments I guess made by the small folk like, oh, it's a bad
She's her
omen.
Lord of Whispers, is
Yeah,
not?
yeah, and I think Rhaenyra kind of mentions like maybe it was someone else, but like oh like can you send like your like can you find out what they're talking about? She's like, oh, I like we should do, or let me see, where is it? Like they might fight the war not just with swords and dragons, but also with rumors. Like go,
Oh, you like use your people. Like
yeah,
they're
like
blowing it and they're turning the whole
yeah,
town against them. Like
yeah,
we can use that. I
yeah,
think the lines like wars aren't just fought with soldiers and dragons. Like
yeah. Fighting with rumors, like it's like we can go and like turn like the people around them, like there are thousands and thousands, turn them against them, which like would definitely help working because like they're all getting very upset like in King's Landing, like they can't get food because like the
blockade.
Brigade, yeah, but yeah, blockade. I was thinking of like Barcade. I was like, it's definitely not it. But they're all getting restless. They're all, a bunch of them are leaving, which they later kind of just stop that.
I mean, the
But
place is disgusting. Like
yeah,
they left the rat catchers up there for weeks. They just paraded a giant dead dragon head
I mean the red
across
catchers
the
really
like.
were really only for like the Red Keep though. I don't think they did like.
I mean, like the town, the people are walking around seeing it and smelling it.
Well, no, but like I think they kind of just works in the castle. But either way, like they're starving. Like they have no meat and food.
Mm.
They send out a servant girl. I don't. I think I saw her name somewhere. I forget it. But I'm kind of assuming that she's well. Like we kind of later see she does end up going to the Red Keep. I guess starting these rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get Rhaenyra comforting Bela and basically just talking about Rhaenys.
I love this scene. This is
Yeah,
a great conversation between the two of these guys.
because she mentions she like brings up like oh yeah like have you heard of like when like Rhaenys got Meleys, and then Bela kind of mentions how mad it like she heard it made her father because technically it was
Damon.
Daemon and Viserys' mother's dragon,
Right.
and Meleys never like bent down for Daemon, never like was like oh yeah like you can be my rider,
Mm-hmm.
but she did for Rhaenyra or Rhaenys, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then like the big part we get out of this is Rhaenyra hands Bela a box and mentions that she does not want to stand alone. I mean, we find out later, but it's pretty easy to kind of guess that it's a box with the hand of the king,
She needs a new
right?
hand.
Yeah,
Right.
hand of the queen. And then we get probably the weirdest scene of the episode. Daemon
Ugh.
is fucking his mom.
Yeah.
Yep. Uh,
Yeah, he done did that. A mom he's never met. Really?
yeah, but it was funny because like the mom like the whole time was like, oh like you're the
My
strongest.
favorite son.
Well, yeah, that's how it ends. But it's like, oh, you were the strongest. You were like, always better with a sword. Viserys might have been like good, but you were like, if only you were born sooner, you were like born
Yeah.
or like made to be to wear the crown.
Man's got some serious mommy
Yeah.
issues. Like
Yeah, and then basically
you
just
would have been my
yeah
favorite if I met you both.
ends it with saying he was her favorite son, and there's like blood on his hands from like I guess around her neck. I don't know
Yeah.
what that was. But then we get Simon kind of going like voice coming through saying, "Oh, is it the duck not to your liking?" And the blood on his hands was the duck's. And once again, Damon's kind of just like coming out of an illusion, like, what? Where the hell am I?
Yeah.
We get
Like I said, we have to assume either he's been getting drugged or like that potion he took because like it's one thing to have these nightmares, which is like obviously like having continuous nightmares is a
yeah,
thing on its own, but like to be like waking up out of them and you're at dinner
yeah,
is unreal. Like
and having like no recollection of how you got there. And like also like
yeah,
right after he comes out of this, we see Alice is like looking at him like behind Simon, and like watching Damon basically like knowing what like he's going through an illusion,
Right.
and like that's kind of what I was gonna say. Like it's how much of a part in this like in these does she have? Because like clearly like there's another part later that like it very much seems like she is kind of playing a part in this.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I fully think she is too. Like,
Yeah,
like I know Heron Hall itself has like these like the stories and the like being haunted, but at the same time, she's been there, and I think she's been alive for over 100 years. Like,
yeah,
she just might be the thing. Like the
yeah,
reason Heron Hall, like all these people are going to Heron Hall
yeah.
and getting spooked.
And like the wonder is like maybe like the first night like did he drink something that like maybe she messed with beforehand, or I don't know if like she's doing spells or what. I mean, I guess
Yeah,
we can't really know. But then they talk about like rebuilding Harrenhal and getting it ready for a big group of men to come and stay there as they prepare for battle. And Simon's kind of like, well, like kind of need some coin. He's like, oh, like what happened to your coffers? He's like, well, we have some for us, but Lord Laris kind of took all of it with him to King's Landing. So we kind of I think I mentioned
which
about the debit card before, but like like I guess like at
how
least
the
we
hell do you
find out
do that?
why. Well, because he's technically like he was technically the runner of like he was like the lord of it after he killed his father.
Yeah, I
So he
guess.
had the authority to do it. And I guess like they couldn't say no, even though it probably definitely seemed a little suspicious.
Well, yeah, I mean, they all were suspicious that he killed them. So
Yeah, but then Damon like because like he Simon asked like oh like can we guarantee like can we ask the queen to make sure we have the coin? Damon says he'll personally guarantee it, and then he's now no longer okay with being called my grace. He wants to be called my king, and Simon kind of pushes back and he goes well like what would you call the husband of the queen? He starts with king. He's like exactly. He goes consort. He's like I don't think that part's necessary.
yeah, let's leave that last part out.
Yeah. So we're seeing more and more Damon kind of push the idea that he wants the throne. We go back to the Green Council as everyone's sitting down. Aegon's condition is I'm not sure he will ever wake, but he's alive.
Mm-hmm.
Allison tries to take charge and be like, oh, well, like we need a new person. I could do it. I could be Queen Regent. I ruled during Viserys, and they kind of push back like, well, that was during peacetime. This
Yeah,
is
I think
wartime.
the Maester is
Sorry.
the only one that defends Allison's
Yep,
claim.
yep, he is. And I think we kind of get the idea of like, oh, like I think yeah, Lord Laris kind of mentions he's like, how would it look if we push back on Rhaenyra's claim because she's a woman, and then we put a woman on our throne,
Yeah,
which is a good point, and like, and kind of in that, Allison's like, yeah, I kind of did fuck up. Like, all these guys are just
I
like,
mean, she's on side. A woman can't be queen.
yeah,
Like I
exactly. It's
feel
like,
like
yeah,
it's
so she's like, you're right, but I didn't really think about this that far.
yeah. I kind of surrounded myself with not the people that would support me.
Yeah, and they all push for Aemon, which, like I said, when Cole picks, he can't look up from like the table. He just looks straight down. He's like, yep, I think it would only make sense that Aemon does it.
Yeah, I think he's like it has to be Aemon.
Yeah,
Like it's which you like. He's right. It does, but like definitely a stab to her because if
yeah,
she thought she had anybody on that console and left, really, it
yeah.
was Kristen.
Well, it's like
And then
it would make sense for her to do it if like if Aemon was like younger, but he's definitely old enough to like
right,
I would say more competent than Aegon. He's a little bit more of a scheme and I guess a more of a tyrant type, but he's definitely old enough.
she's like, "Give me
Um,
back my favor."
yeah, but then Aemon kind of grabs his little ball from the middle, goes to the king's spot, and puts it down. They all start talking, and they bring up the small folk leaving. He goes, "All right, we'll just lock the gates." Like has almost no thought of how mad that's gonna make him.
Yeah.
And
Oh, can I make an interjection here? I am upset that they stopped doing that ball thing. I think that is one of the coolest things that they
yeah, I
did.
don't know
Like
why. Yeah, I don't know why
each
that's
person
a
has
thing
their
that.
own colored
Yeah,
ball, and it sits in the middle. And
on
once
like
you pull
sand.
up, you
Yeah,
can grab it, so you can see who's not here because
yeah.
the ball's still in the middle.
I think it's
I
kind of
like
like
it. Looks so cool.
yeah. I agree. I think it's kind of also like oh if if we don't start talking till the king puts his ball down and then we kind of stop after he leaves and picks it up.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know why that's something that we
you get a
only get in
ball and a
this.
donut, and you have to little play it. It looks.
Maybe
It's
maybe
a
maybe,
cool representation of like attendance.
maybe OSHA got involved and they stopped it because of safety concerns after the one guy
Yeah,
got smashed in the head with
they
it.
definitely stepped in after Chris and Cole
Yeah,
head slammed somebody into their ball.
OSHA's like this isn't safe. Uh, but yeah, they choose to lock the gates, and Eamon always also says cut down the fucking rat catchers, which is kind of like yeah, like they why are they still up? They're
Yeah,
decaying in like that's also a bad omen. It doesn't look good. I don't think the small folk are really happy about that.
it's stupidly like they were literally corpses just getting
Yeah.
eaten by birds. It was disgusting.
And then we get Hugh Hammer again. Basically, just his wife's growing impatient, wants to leave the city. I don't think there's much to do there because it just he still has faith that the king is gonna help out,
Right.
and she's
Aegon
kind of
still hasn't like
produced anything. Like, cause like
yeah.
they still haven't paid him for the scorpions he made, which is like Aegon was supposed to pay him before he made those, and it looks like he made them and still is not getting paid. Which
Yeah.
I don't blame her and like being pissed. Like, yeah, what like how long are we gonna wait? Like our the daughter's dying. I don't know what from, but she's
Mhm.
clearly laying in the bed sick. Um, they cut down the rat catchers and we get the conversation between Allison and Kristen Cole. Uh, basically Allison's all upset, like, why didn't you support me? And like he just kind of like you said or we said before, like he's trying to protect her. He's like, oh, like I don't like you don't need to see this. You don't need to be talking about and like leading and like having to do these awful terrible things we're gonna have to do. Like I've seen dragons in warfare. It's not fun.
Right.
Um, but yeah, Allison's mad at him. That's about it. And then we get Hugh and his family trying to leave as the Gold Cloaks close the door, basically 10 yards away from Hugh. They're almost there.
Yeah.
If they had just left a little sooner, they would have gotten in. But then the Gold Cloak says, by order of the Prince Regent Aemond, they're doing this. And all the small folk are like, wait, what? Why is it not
Where's
Aegon?
Aegon?
Yeah.
Which also you gotta think this also hits Hugh Hammer because like I'm not getting Aegon's promise
Yep.
now. Like that
Yeah.
promise means
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Aemon's not gonna like that was
He
a
doesn't
very
remember.
generous
Yeah.
thing he said. He's gonna like pay everything forward
Yeah.
so they know that they're gonna get their money. He's not gonna go up to
Yeah.
Aemon and ask for that too.
Yeah. And I don't know how much, like, they know of Aemon's personality, but, like, I think it might be the idea of, like, oh, like, Aegon is tried to be generous, is where, like, from what we know of Aemon, he's not at all.
I mean,
Like
they know, they at least know that he's Aemon the Kinslayer and he
yeah,
rides Vagar.
yeah,
Like
exactly, yeah. It's like
he's
I don't
not
think we're
somebody you're
gonna,
gonna
yeah,
ask for favors from.
yeah, no. Go to the twins as Jace and the phrase dine on what looks like a door. I don't really know why the table's a door, but it looks like a door to me. Uh,
Oh, at what's it called the phrase? I didn't hear you
yeah,
say that.
yeah,
Yeah,
the twins.
in the middle of a bridge, not in a house at all. Just weird setting.
I don't know if that was Jace's plan because he wants them to see the dragon and be afraid of it.
Yeah, but I
That'd be
mean,
my. It is. It does look a
would
little
he
weird.
send a raven like, "Hey, I want to eat outside on your bridge,
Well,
please"?
he could have. I'm assuming he just flew there and was like, and just knocked
Outdoor
on the
seating, please.
and like knocked on the door. Was like, yeah, yeah, outdoors. As it's like it's windy and looks like it's probably not that warm.
Yeah,
But basically he's like wants them to be able to or wants to be able to use like their crossing. They're kind of like pushing back, like, oh, like why should we help? But says like, oh, like he'll give them his protection and his uncles, which they're like, oh, can we like does he consent to that? And he
right,
mentions how like he will do everything the queen asks. But they say they want Harrenhal, to which Jace says the queen will need more than that. She'll need bent knees. So I'm assuming that's kind of like basically asking like we're gonna need you to bend the knee and probably also provide us men.
right. Yeah, it's more like we don't. We're no longer just asking to use your bridge
Yeah,
now. Like now we want your guys.
yeah,
We want you to fully support us. And like I like the one line he said too, where like I think they kind of went back at him saying like, well, like they have Vagar. Why do we choose to side with
yeah.
Vagar? And he's like, you're worried about a dragon like
Oh,
leagues
it's
away,
yeah,
while mine sits right upon your hill right over
yeah,
there. Like that was a cool line. He's like, dude, like
yeah,
that's not the dragon you need to worry about. Mine's right there, bro.
yeah. He's like, oh, if you say no, I can also just have him burn you, and it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that one breathes fire too.
Yeah,
It's a great line. He's like, dude, like that one's not gonna kill you right now. Mine
yeah.
can.
That's what I mean. Like he's like, you see, we're outside. I picked outside for a reason. He's there.
You
We
think I
get
like windy bridges when I make my deals? No.
we get Damon the lumberjack,
Oh,
just
Jesus, yeah.
chopping wood in Harrenhal. And this is I kind of mentioned this earlier, but he hears like whispers of like what sounds like screams. And he looks up and sees Alice. Like this is another thing. Like she then mentions like as she's like cleaning up his hand that like she doesn't hear rumors like kind of like Masari does, like actual like words from people. She just hears screams like they come through the wind. And I'm like also thinking like did she make him hear that? Because like she mentioned she hears it and then he hears it then and another
Yeah.
time later. It's like I kind of feel like that's her pushing those thoughts on him.
Well, I'm trying to like, yeah. I mean, showing him what he sent the Blackwoods to do, and like how it's like, I know
Yeah,
you're thinking of this as in like get their allegiance by any means necessary, but like listen to the agony that's
yeah,
going on your order. Like,
yeah. And we kind of see later that like doing this to people does not make them loyal to you at all.
No.
Uh, like she kind of like cuts into him like, oh, like I'm sure these actions were approved by the queen. Like she definitely said you could do this. And to which Damon's like, oh, like I'm gonna be the one that has to win. Like I can ascend the throne, and she can happily sit next to me and be queen. But like getting into the fact like he want to take the throne for himself. He might not fight Rhaenyra, but he is going to try and sit on the throne himself.
So yes, my only drawback, like if he left out the like she can sit next to me while I'm on the throne, and just said like it's true. They're like the people that everyone's siding with is Rhaenyra. So Rhaenyra can't go out and really win the war. Like Damon's gonna have to do a lot of the like
Dirty work.
persuading, the like talking to people, the fighting, the like battle planning. Like he's gonna be the face of the war side of it, but like it's only because Rhaenyra can't be. Like
Yeah,
Rhaenyra's death would like if Rhaenyra
yeah,
dies, not everyone's gonna be immediately like, all right, we're Team Damon now. They're like, it's
yeah. I mean,
she's got to be the one that survives. So
I
like
kind of looked
Damon's
into it of like as a thought of like he's saying she can't because she like isn't capable of it. Not because of her like position she can't go. Like she, I thought he was just kind of saying like she's not strong enough to go and do this. But I mean,
right.
I see
Again,
your point too.
we're talking about Damon here, who thought Viserys was a big old poos
Yeah,
because he didn't want to like, go out and
yeah,
just kill people
yeah,
constantly. But it's like, no, he reigned over
yeah,
peace. Like
yeah.
you don't have to
Go
be
fight. Yeah,
this gunfire, like literally drop of the dime, kill everybody with your dragon just
yeah.
because you have one.
You don't have to cut a dude's eye out because he stole a piece of bread. Like
Right.
Damon was basically doing the first season.
Yeah.
But then Alice also says she pities him that he never met his mother, which is also a really weird line after he just had a vision about having sex with
Banger.
his mom. So I think he's kind of like, "Wait, what the, like, how do you know about that?"
He's like, I just met her, dude.
Uh, but Simon comes up and says House Bracken is his, and kind of like also like when Alice is walking away, like Simon kind of like he clearly notices her, but like he has a weird like kind of like scared face on his, like so I don't know, like because I've heard mention and theories that like she's a ghost, but she like, he
Yeah.
clearly like looked at her. So I mean I
I
don't.
think we've seen more than enough times people, other
Yeah.
people, like look at her and
Yes.
like acknowledge
Yeah.
her. That I
Yeah.
don't think she's a
I
ghost.
agree. But I think he is like maybe just partially scared of her. Like oh like yeah she does help the castle and stuff like that, but she is a witch still,
Yeah.
and like it's like so like, that fear.
I mean, if
Um.
somebody lived in my castle and claimed to be 100 years old and looked like that, I'd be pretty
Yeah.
freaked out by her too. Fuck, like, sorry.
Um. Go back to Driftmark where Balin meets with Corlys, and they kind of
Oh, I think one of the best scenes of the episode, honestly.
yeah I liked a lot of the dialogue in this. Corlys is really upset like oh like because like Balin's like oh like she's asking you to be her hand. And goes, "Oh, is she not taking enough of my family?" Like she basically blaming her for Rhaenys' death,
Yeah,
which
she just takes and she
yeah,
takes. Like not no
yeah,
like not a day later than or Rhaenys dying,
yeah,
she's asking me.
because I think he still blames her for Laenor's death or supposed death. We still don't know if he's actually still alive or not.
Right.
Um,
He just lost his daughter.
yeah, which I mean it wasn't her fault, but like
No, but
still
again,
kind of
like
connected because Daemon was also like married to her, so how much of that he blames him, I don't know.
he lost his brother to Damon.
Yeah,
Like he
that's
literally
another
lost
good point.
everyone but his
Yeah,
grandkids.
like yeah, he lost all of his heirs basically to Driftmark because of her. He even lost like his heir in Luke because he went out on a mission for her. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but then Bailey kind of calms him down by like saying like, oh, like no, Rhaenys picked this. She said she was gonna go. She wasn't told to go.
She
And
died the way she would want to
yeah,
die.
by Dragonfire, just like her mother. And Bailey kind of says like that's how I'd want to go out too, like
Right.
fighting, which is kind of I feel like kind of how Corlys would want to go out. He would want to go out fighting in the sea.
Right.
And and then like she gives him the box, says like, oh, like do whatever you want. And then Corlys stops her. I think kind of hearing that, oh, because yeah, I don't know. Here we go. But then Corlys stops her, like seeing like, oh, like she's strong. She is like whatever. Like, and he goes, I would
I would
ask
name
you to
you
be,
heir.
yeah, name you heir. And she goes, I'm blood and fire, and Driftmark must pass the salt and sea, which definitely kind
Mm-hmm.
of hurts him,
But
but is
again,
true.
great
Yeah,
execution. Like that is like I'm a dragon rider, dude. Like you need like you can't have a dragon rider
yeah,
like lord over the
Yeah, the tides.
seas, which Lucerys was gonna be, but he's a little kid,
But like I think it was a little bit easier then because like it was like he was so young at that point where like he could like
and
oh
it
yeah
was
you're
peace.
you're like you're heir like you can come stay here live here and I can teach you everything.
Right, and not only that, Jace is the current heir to the throne.
Yeah.
So if they win this war and everything goes well, she can't be the lord of.
Well, yeah, that was my thought too. Um, but maybe we'll get Alan or Adam, Double D Adam, as a
Yeah, I mean, there's no
heir to
reason to
Driftmark.
not appoint your
Yeah,
bastard
I mean
now.
we could get like a Ramsey Bolton type where like he instead of going from Ramsey Snow to Ramsey Bolton, getting the name.
Yeah,
We get Rhaenyra as she sends Alfred off to go to Harrenhal, and Alfred kind of sees he's like, "Are you like demoting me? Like I'm like or whatever." And Rhaenyra kind of like apologizes. She's like, "No, like I'm not demoting you. I'm sorry for what I did, like what I said, but like you've tried my patience of late, but like you're still like a valuable member of like my council. Like I'm
right.
not doing this. I'm only sending you off because I think you're the only one that can do it."
And he's also said you're the only one that I know would not switch sides on me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he's like, "I would never." Um, her only message to Damon would be she would like to finish the last conversation they had,
Right.
which I don't think that's gonna get finished anytime. Well, actually, I've seen a preview of the next episode. It might get finished next episode.
No, but like I also like that's a good way to word it, where it's like we didn't need to, we didn't need to like literally,
And there,
yeah, end there. It could have come around to us back on the same
yeah,
page, where like which it still can. So
yeah,
like I think that's kind of relies like, dude, like we're not done. Like we
yeah,
obviously can reconcile this.
yeah,
We just need to finish this
yeah,
conversation and sit down and talk and
yeah,
not just and storm
yeah.
out of the building.
Yeah, it's like why couldn't you just like slept on it instead of storming out and now like letting it stew over like days and weeks because of the fact you left?
Also, you're leaving me vulnerable. You're the best dragon I
Yeah,
have left, and like, yeah, I know, like, he sees himself as doing good work for the side, but like,
it's taken too
dude, like,
long.
they're vulnerable now. Like, all they have is currently as dragon riders is I guess Bayless
They have
dragon's good
three,
too,
yeah.
but I don't
Um,
see Jaceres is beating anybody right now.
no. Well, I mean, it's just it's everyone versus Vhagar at this point because like I don't think
Yeah,
Helene is gonna get on a dragon anytime soon. I
I
know
don't.
she had.
Helena's got a dope dragon. That's
It's
the only
cool
thing that I'm gonna
looking.
be
It's
upset
cool
about,
looking, but I don't think she's
and
gonna
it's
get.
big.
I don't think it's. Well, I don't think it's
It's
that
bigger
big.
than Sunfire.
Well, yeah, but Sunfire's. Yeah, that's fair.
But I'm saying like that's their like I think like size wise it's
Yeah,
one of the biggest ones left besides
and
Vagar.
technically they have like their like Allison's fourth kid,
Oh
Danor or
yes,
whatever his name is,
Is it Daynor?
something like that. But like we,
Yeah, he's got a dope ass looking
yeah,
dragon. I can't think of its name right
he's
now, but
still just kind of. We've heard his name once. That's it. But
mm-hmm.
he is out there. We go back to Harrenhal with Damon. Once I kind of mentioned it, he hears. I know he hears more cries in his bed. He gets woken up by Simon, kind of frantically, and Damon's all pissed off. Why do I have to go meet with him now? Like I don't want to meet with the River Lords. Goes out there and they're all kind of like yelling at him like why do you like let this happen? Like what's going on? Like they're hoisting the banners of like House Targaryen with like a red dragon on black. Like which when he hears that, Damon's kind of like fuck. Like I told him not to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
we also get he hears a voice, a woman's voice. It's like a terrible war is being fought in these lands. He turns around and he sees his old wife behind him, Balin Rhaena's mom, and he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like spooked again. And she asks if he's looked over the girls, to which like he kind of just like snaps out of it.
To which
And
the answer is no.
yeah, no, we've literally seen him walk right past. I think it was Bela, and just not
Yes.
even say a word to her.
No, wait. I think it was Raina because I think Raina just got told that she had to go babysit.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I knew it was one of them.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, great question to ask him because he has not given a fuck about those
Yeah,
kids.
I think I said like Simon said that like the Bracken house is theirs, but all these River Lords are saying they're not gonna raise a banner for a tyrant. Like, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
might have like taken them, but like we're not gonna help you out. Like,
Okay, so
come like
I misread this scene. I think I didn't put it together that I thought this was just a bunch of angry Brackens. I didn't realize this was like lords of all the like a
well
lot of
yeah,
houses in
because
the
like
Riverlands.
Simon says the River Lords. I don't know what like which ones those
No,
are.
but you said that sounds
Yeah,
right.
so like we get like what looks like maybe like one or two knights and a woman. I
Some
can't tell.
lady.
Yeah, but they're all upset, and she says like oh like they won't raise their banners for a tyrant, and then they kind of all storm out. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you might have like successfully got the Brackens to heal, but like, what are you actually gaining in this? Like, you're gaining land and people that are upset at you.
Right.
Like, it's not the way to go about it. But then, like, I mean, it's really not gonna, doesn't matter. We go to Flea Bottom as that servant girl kind of goes up to like the gate, and a gold cloak
Which is
kind of
already
like,
closed.
yeah, the one gold cloak is like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I have a message from Massaria, and he's like, I thought she was dead. And
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like, oh, like, would you ever remember her like leaving without like getting what she's owed? And he's like, all right,
Yeah.
fine, let's go. Like, more people are trying to get out of this than go in, so let's just
Which
go.
I think is also shows that she's got people like
Yeah. Well,
gold. She got gold cloaks with her too.
which I kind of like, I can't imagine she was like, yeah, look for this gold cloak. Like, you can't tell who they are with like their helmets on, but like, so like, are all the gold cloaks just still kind of under Massaria?
Um,
Because like, I
I
don't know how much they would know this servant girl's also for the other team. Like, it's kind of
part of
like,
me thinks that she, the girl, like that girl, could have also lived at King's Landing with them
well,
and
I think
has been with like what's her name?
Massa
What's the girl's name?
Massaria.
Massaria. So like she might know who's on her side and who isn't.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. Because I think she did like live in the Red Keep. I think she was one of Rhaenyra's like servants for like a
Yeah.
while. Um, then we get a quick scene of Corlys like holding the pan on the driftwood throne. He kind of just grasps it. I'm assuming that means he's gonna accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Aemon looking at the throne in the dark, to which he gets like creeped out as Helena kind of just comes up behind him and asks if it was worth the price. I don't know, like, I guess the price being Aegon like getting messed up, but at the same time it's kind of, like, I don't know if she was asking if like that was worth it, or like, I don't know, because I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
he
I would
kind of
assume it's
I
like,
think he
was
is
it
okay
worth
with
almost
Aegon
killing your
dying.
brother?
Yeah, which I think he's fine with.
I would think he would say yes to
Yeah, I
that.
think he would almost rather Aegon just fully dead, but
Yeah.
um Alicent's watching over Aegon as he I guess sleeps, and then as she like leaves the room, we hear him call out
She
"Mummy."
actually shows a motherly instinct,
Yeah,
like actually like rubs
finally
up on
being
his
a
face
mother.
and
Yeah,
is it's like it was a nice moment, and then immediately she dips, and then yeah, you get him saying under his breath,
"Mummy."
"Mummy,
So I guess
mummy."
Alicent's a mummy now. This is right into
Yeah,
the
that's.
tomb.
I saw people react to like, is it because he's all wrapped up? I'm like, are you actually stupid? Like you think he just went, "I'm a mummy."
It's just the English call their mom's mum.
Yeah, I saw people say that. I was like, dude, that's actually
I just
insane.
thought it was funny, but I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Um, so I guess I'm assuming that kind of means next episode he's gonna be awake. I think it's pretty fair to say.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's at least like bedridden, but he might be talking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Like,
Yeah, I don't imagine he's gonna get up. I just think he's gonna
I
be
don't think he's
awake.
getting up this season.
I think he's gonna be awake, and more of that comes like, oh, like if I'm awake, does he remember what happened in the battle, and go, yeah, I
You're
remember.
right.
I was like, oh, thank the gods, like Vagar's here, and then he's like, oh yeah, and then Aemon just burnt me.
Yeah, you'd have to really hope that he got pretty concussed and doesn't remember how
Yeah.
he went down.
Well, I don't hope that. I kind of want to see some chaos, but
But what happens?
just
Does it
chaos. I
like
don't know.
does
Not
Aemon
nothing
get
really.
sentenced to death and then they
No,
lose their best dragon
I don't
rider?
think so. I just want to see chaos go.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just like, yo, dude, you missed bad. You got me.
but then we go to the final scene of the episode. Jace and Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's like slapping on the
Jace is
wrist.
just back from the fray too,
Yeah,
so
kind of like,
which Rhaenyra did not
yeah.
want him to go to.
Rhaenyra's like, thank you, like you did great, but at the same time, told you not to do that,
Yeah, you
bad boy.
disobeyed my order.
And like, Jace is kind of like, oh, like I had to act like I'm like getting frustrated, and she's like, how frustrated do you think I am? I'm supposed to be the queen, and I can't do anything. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, oh yeah, but like you're the queen, of course you can't do anything. And she's like, well, you're the heir, like you're also not supposed to be doing anything. Like you're the one that's this is gonna turn to. So like we both kind of just have to be happy in not doing this. But like if push comes to shove, I'm the one that has to go out and do something.
Felt like a real brother and sister conversation. Like, you're not allowed to. You're doing this. He's like, you're kind of just as
Yeah,
important as I am.
yeah,
Like, you shouldn't be doing this either. Like,
yeah. But like yeah, I think I mentioned before, like she had a book open to Visenya, and Jason's kind of like, I hope you don't take her as an example, which I don't know like why that's a bad thing, because I mean I tried to like look more into it, but like I said, she just kind of took the Eyrie and the Vale. And I mean, she was a part of like the big field of fire that Aegon kind of where he roasted like the biggest army.
yeah, and the Heron Hall that was Balerion the
That's
dragon, right?
Valyrian the
That
Dread, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Which
But
I
I mean, I think they all rode together. Like I was gonna
yeah.
say, they like
Well, I
they were
mean,
just a
they were
wrecking
married,
ball.
yeah.
So
Which I think I did look it up. I mean, I don't know if it's fully confirmed, but I think we were right with saying Balerion the Dread or like Balerion the Dread was the one in the back. Like that he's that big skull in the back.
Yeah.
I got a confirmation on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I like Vermeer. Um,
I
but
think
like
there's
she's
another
like
question we
oh
had
like
last
Vagar's
week.
like bigger, but Cyrix is quicker, and Jason's like oh Maylis was quicker too. Like look what happened. She's like yeah, but she fought two dragons and
Yeah.
beat one. Like if we only have like one on one, we might be able to beat him.
Yeah.
But then Jace brings up he's like well we do have like she says we need more dragons. He's like we have a dearth of dragons. We have plenty. We have two big enough to go against Vagar. We have Vermithor and Silverwing, but they're riderless.
Right.
And basically I mean they have no more riders until Rhaenyra and Daemon's kids kind of grow up.
Um, he does say like, what about Reyna? And
Yeah,
I think Rhaenyra was like, she literally almost died the last time she
yeah,
even went down there. Like they're not
yeah.
taking to her well at all.
Rhaenyra's only hope is to take one of like the younger dragons.
Right.
But then like Jace is like, oh like what if we went outside or like in our bloodline, but like the people that like kind of fell out of our
Outside
house.
of royalty.
Yeah, basically like
Yeah.
the ones that married into other houses. And
Right.
at first like Rhaenyra is kind of like, yeah, but that's not gonna work. And he's like, well, why not try? It's
Yeah.
better
She
than
was
death.
like, you want to put a Tully on a dragon?
Yeah, and
And
he's
that
like,
part made me laugh. She's like, you want
and
a Tully dragon rider?
I like that he is better than death and defeat,
Yeah. And he was
which is
like,
like, and then she's
like
kind of like,
he did a
yeah, that's a
funny
good
face.
idea. We're not
Yeah.
dying. Just a bunch of random Tullys. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be
Give
kind of
him a
cool.
shot. Why not?
Yeah. And I've heard some rumors about a certain character that we've seen in the show already that might be one of them. I'm not gonna mention it because I don't want to give a spoiler.
One that many people wonder why we keep seeing this
Yep. Yep.
guy.
Yep. That's the one.
Yeah. But
But it is kind of I saw like from the preview of the next episode. It looks like we kind of see this. I don't know if it was Vermithor or Silverwing, but we kind of get a scene of like them popping up and like looking at Rhaenyra, and she's like,
oh, that
"Oh
was Silverwing.
shit." Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, dude, Vermithor is a absolute unit. It's the biggest. It's close to Vagar size.
Yeah, I've also
We've
heard
only
like,
seen him once, and it was the one that
yeah,
the time that Damon was
yeah,
singing to
yeah,
him, and he was like literally like started breathing
yeah.
fire and was just a beast. I think he's the Bronze Fury. I think his name is or his nickname.
I'm not. I think you might be
Something like
right.
the Bronze Fury, or
Yeah,
I said, would it be the Bronze Dread because it's Balerion the Dread, but I'm pretty sure it's Bronze
yeah.
Fury.
I have heard also there's another dragon at Dragonstone, but it's a cannibal. It eats the other
Oh,
dragons.
I
Apparently,
think
is a
might be the biggest
yeah
dragon
he
of
yeah
all of them.
I think he's the biggest dragon of all of them, but
I don't know.
there's almost no way you're gonna tame that one.
No, dude. I was gonna say we're. I don't know. I won't even say this is gonna be a spoiler because I don't think we're gonna see this dragon at all. But just based off lore, this dragon is, I think, on par, if not bigger than Vagar.
Pretty sure bigger.
Like jet black with glowing green eyes,
Yeah.
and it's a cannibal dragon because it
Yep.
eats baby dragons and dragon eggs left
Yep.
unattended.
Which is that's
Is
insane.
a terrifying idea of a
Yeah.
dragon. I
I guess
hope we
yeah.
get some series. And what's crazy too is that thing. Like I don't know how long I think Balerion died of old age.
Yeah, was it, I think all the dragons basically so far have died of old age, other than Sunfire and Melees.
Yeah, which I'm trying to think about like how old Balerion the Dread was, but like the cannibal, if it's older than like
I'm pretty sure like the video I watched said like it was older. Like it's apparently one of
maybe eating dragon eggs keeps you youthful. Eating
yeah.
other
Well,
dragons
like
keeps you like
I
it's
think
all you're eating another magical creature. Maybe that keeps you young.
I think like some of the lore is like we're kind of unsure exactly how old it is, but they're pretty sure it was at least like 50 years old when Vagar was born.
Yeah,
So it's been around for a while. I'm assuming it just has a big part of the cave that it just kind of hides in.
yeah.
But that I mean it'd be cool to just at least get a scene where they see him. But I am kind of hoping we get some riders on the riderless
Yeah,
dragons,
I
and
think
we have Sea Smoke too, like which like but like at the same time, if
I think we know
Laenor's
who Sea Smoke's gonna get ridden by.
well, like, but yeah, but like if Laenor's technically still alive, I don't know if anyone can claim him. So I don't know if we're gonna get a
No,
scene where
well,
like
you can't.
someone, I don't know if someone like ends up like accidentally claiming him, and they're like, oh yeah, they well yeah, because I guess like the only one that might think that Laenor's still alive is Rhaenyra.
But I don't think Sea Smoke's like in the pits. I think he's just out loose, like just unrest or was it uneasy?
Wrestling, yeah.
Like
But
he's
I mean,
just
I gotta imagine he's going back and forth. Like I don't think he's
yeah. I'm not really sure how their housing situation goes. Whether they
yeah.
they're loose during the day and they all come back to
Yeah,
snuggle at night.
I don't think they have a big gate for it. I think it's just a big
Yeah,
cave. It's like, yeah, you can kind of do what you want, but like this is,
they all
it's
got a
like,
room key.
well, they, yeah, they have a chip in their head where they know where to go home.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think next episode we're gonna see some. I don't think we're gonna see any more battles, but
I think we're gonna see some dragon tryouts.
yeah, that's gonna be cool.
All right, I was gonna say, how many do you think we? How many failures do you think we get?
At least two. Gotta get at
Yeah,
least two.
I'm like,
I don't want to say three because I feel
I
like
think
three
we're
is a
gonna get. My guess is there's three failures, but I think we only get one death out of them. I think the other one's just like they're just like fuck out of here. Like they're just
yeah
like, no, I'm not taming you.
yeah we might
I
get like
think we're
yeah
gonna
two
get
like two
one
people that run
person to just
away.
get either eaten or
Yeah,
just completely burnt.
I think it's gonna be the one guy that we mentioned. That I think he's gonna be the actual success, but I don't know how they're gonna find him to be honest.
That's I would have thought that. I think he's not making it over there this episode.
No,
So I guess
Masari might have to be part of it. A little smuggling job.
yeah. All right, we're hitting a little too much.
Yeah,
Here he is. Here he is. But like I said, they pulled out Sea Smoke or not Sea Smoke, Silverwing first.
yeah.
I don't remember who rides Silverwing.
Let me try and quick look it up.
I don't think you. I mean, I'd rather us both not know on this one then.
That's fair. Well, oh no, I meant like oh I think you meant like who rides him like beforehand.
No, no, no. I'm talking about who gets to claim him.
Okay.
I'd be very dangerous ground looking at who rides him before him
Yeah, I didn't
without
really
seeing
I didn't
the.
really think about that until I was about to search it, so I won't.
Yeah, but again, I think we're gonna get some dragon tryouts next week, which I think is gonna be fun. Um, comment in the or give us
Yeah.
some comments on the video who you think is gonna claim these dragons. Like, there's some people that have been like, look at the hair. There's some people we've met that have hair that would make you think they
And
could pull it off.
we've already met Ulf, who said he
Yeah, we've
is
already
a
met Ulf.
Targaryen.
Ulf is an option here, but you have Ulf, you have Corliss's bastard kids,
No, I
you have Rhaena still as a maybe like shit.
once
Rhaena want to try again?
like from what I've seen, also like Corliss's kids can't like Adam and Alan can't. But like I don't know if we're gonna see like because like technically they need to have dragon rider blood in them. They have like Valerian blood in them, but not dragon master blood.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
hear
see.
you. We shall see. Yeah, again, if you have any theories, comment them below.
Yeah, we're doing dragon tryouts.
Dragon trials.
All right. See
All right.
everyone next week.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.